Hey everybody, welcome to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com, and today I'm doing kind of a handheld kind of a video here. I want to apologize for the audio quality right up front. I'm just using the camera audio, the camera mic for this. This was not a video I planned. It was something I'm in the middle of doing some reconstruction of my computer system and my hard drives and so on and so forth. And in the middle, I thought before I set everything up, a lot of people have asked me over the years, you know, what kind of computer do you have? What kind of backup strategy do you use for hard drives? What kind of universal audio system do you have as far as hardware goes, and how do you kind of, you know, have everything kind of set up? And I've never really done a video like that because where the stuff was located, which I'll show you in a minute, wasn't really conducive to filming video. It wasn't really going to help all that much. But now that I'm moving everything, I thought before I move everything into its new location, and this may be a good opportunity to kind of show you what I have and my strategy and my thinking as far as backups go and stuff like that. So I'm going to turn the camera around and kind of talk through this again. I apologize for the audio. Don't give me a bunch of nasty comments below. This is something to just trying to kind of help people who are setting up their home studio, or some of my students that want to kind of see my rig before it gets all reinstalled and you won't have an opportunity to really see it. I can kind of talk you through it a little bit. And therefore, it's just an information video. So apologize for the audio. I'm going to turn the camera around, show you where my system kind of was installed, and then kind of explain to you what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So here we go. Let's turn the camera around here. So if we turn around here, we'll try not to go too fast. Okay, so a lot of you that have been following me for a while, if you have been, you know all about my Argosy workstation. And one of the great things I love about this Argosy workstation, which happens to be the model number is the Dual 15L. This is about, I don't know, 7-foot desk or so in width. And we've been through this before. If you want to see a real detailed video on this, go to the YouTube channel and check it out. I have a 2-part series on this whole desk and the construction of it. But one thing that I really loved about this desk, and one of the reasons why I first bought this desk, was because they have this under the desk shelving here. Let me get the camera down here. Hopefully you can see this okay. Try to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so underneath the desk here, and I've installed some LED lighting underneath, there's this this shelving unit that runs the entire length of the desk. And you can see where all the wires are. And this is great for being able to mount, you know, all the equipment that's on top of the desk, all the equipment that's in the racking, all can kind of come underneath here, so you don't have wires all over the floor, which I typically don't. It's mostly pretty clean under here. And that's what I've been doing since I've had the desk about 1.5 years now. It's great, it's nice and tidy, there's plenty of room. The problem is that whenever you have to troubleshoot a computer issue, which I've had to do from time to time, especially as of late, or if you want to swap out a piece of gear, you got to crawl on the floor underneath this desk, which is pretty low to the ground, and you got to kind of, you know, fumble around in the dark to try to get any of the wiring, which I'm sure a lot of you have experienced. And recently I've had some computer issues where I wanted to do things, and getting under here was a real pain. Not to mention, it gets very, very dusty. You can see here, and dirty under here. Cobwebs and everything else, spiders and all that stuff. And it's just not an easy thing to be able to service when you need to. So I came up with a different solution. I figured I want to get all my computer stuff out of this, underneath this shelf, and I want to still be able to keep it in a tidy fashion, but I want to be able to get to it very, very easily. So I decided to, let me move up here. So I decided to relocate the computer stuff, and I'll go over the components in a second, into this closet here, this utility room, next to this workstation, which used to be a vocal booth many, many years ago when I used to track bands in here, and you can see all the acoustic treatment on the walls here. Okay, now this is just turned into a storage closet, and this was filled with a bunch of guitar cases and equipment boxes and so on and so forth. And I thought, you know, if I get myself a nice rack, which we just picked up here, I can get all my computer stuff and all the components in here on that rack. Okay, I could run you know, a nice bundle of wires right out through the wall here underneath the desk, and then back to the control center where I have to hook up the Studio Live 32 and my other components. Everything could be wired, so it's only a few feet away, maybe 6 feet away, into that room. And then this way, all my computer equipment will be on that rack, and I'll have different shelves mounted on that rack, and my computer will sit on top of the rack, and I'll be able to easily get to it. And it's on wheels, so when if I have to get in here and troubleshoot something, I can just turn the rack, I can get behind it, and it's you know, easy to get to. Sorry for the lousy camera work here. Okay, so that's where my new computer station, if you will, all the electronics is going to be. So now why I'm really making this video is now that I ripped all my components out, people want to know about the different types of drives I use and just kind of see what is entailed in my setup in the rig. So I'm going to show that to you right now. So I pulled everything out to dust it off and get it ready to be reinstalled. So let's start here. So the first thing here people ask me about a lot is my computer. So if you don't recognize this in the center here, this thing here, this is a 2013 Mac Pro. Okay, they don't make this any longer. They call this the, it's affectionately known as the trash can. It's a little, it's 5-6 pound thing there, nice and tidy, easy to store. This computer is an 8-core processor. It has 32 gigs of RAM in it. Expandable, I think, to 100. No, excuse me. I have 64 gigs of RAM, and it's expandable to 128 gigs. It has 4 USB 3 ports, and it has 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports, a couple of Cat 5 ports underneath, and then you have your power supply down here. Okay, so that is the main rig that I have, and this is one of the reasons why when I talk to a lot of students about computer problems and they're having issues with sound artifacts and crackling and popping in their DAW, a lot of it has to do with your computer. How fast the processors are, how many gigs of RAM you have, all of that makes a difference. Okay, so that's my computer. I bought it really to be a video editing workstation because I do lots of videos, as you guys know, and I run things like ScreenFlow and Final Cut Pro almost on a daily basis. And that computer's never let me down. I've had it now almost 5 years, and it runs as good as the day that I bought it, because that's my computer. Now, as far as my my drives go, everyone asks about how do I do my backups, how do I run my sessions. This Mac Pro has a 2 terabyte SSD in it, which I only run my applications. I don't run any of my recording session files or my Studio One files. Those all run off of this guy here, this silver guy here. This is a CalDigit 3-bay RAID drive. This is 6 terabytes. These are removable drives. There's three 2 terabyte drives. Okay, these are mechanical drives, not SSDs. This is a few years old now. I bought this brand new when I bought this. So when I bought my computer, I upgraded all my drives to new drives. These can just be pulled out on a sled, and you can just change them if they fail. If one fails, you can just swap it out. It's really easy and quick and easy to do. I have this set up in a RAID mirrored configuration. I think that's RAID 0. I'm not quite sure. You have someone will correct me on that. But I have it set up being mirrored, and what that means is all of my audio sessions run, all my Studio One sessions, or Pro Tools or Cubase, whatever DAW I'm running, always runs off of this 2 terabyte drive. The session runs off of this on this drive. The application Studio One or my DAW runs on the Mac. As it is writing to this drive, it's set up in a mirrored fashion, which means it's also making an exact duplicate to the second drive and to the third drive. So in essence, I have the original session and 2 backups at all times. Okay, so it's in 3 places. Okay, 2 terabytes each, up to 6 terabytes, and I got it in a mirrored configuration. This is great. This is a real nice piece of kit, real heavy duty, industrial kind of thing. Works great, super quiet. And it's awesome. Oh, and it's Thunderbolt. It's all Thunderbolt connected, not USB. Thunderbolt. Okay? That's the first set of backups. Now, for my video, I have this here. This is a G Technology. Again, these are 2 drives in here. This is a 12 terabyte RAID setup with 2 6 terabyte drives in here. They're the mechanical drives, just like this. They're not fusion drives or SSD drives. They are mechanical drives, 2 6 terabytes. Okay, same thing. All my videos, everything I do for ScreenFlow, all the quick mix, the Made Easy series, all that stuff you guys know me for, my YouTube videos, all the video sessions are on here. And they're set up again in a mirrored setup, so when everything that writes on the first drive is getting copied over to the second drive. So my videos are all on the original drive with 1 backup. The audio's on the original drive in 2 backups. Okay. Then from there, move this out of the way. I have this drive here. This is a Thunderbolt portable drive. Okay, this is let's see. This I believe is 6 or 8 terabytes big. Okay, this is a biggie. It doesn't look it, but it's a lot of space on here. I run an application called ChronoSync, You could search it out online, where every night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, everything that's on one of these drives, my audio gets backed up here, and then a duplicate of one of the drives here for all my video projects gets backed up here as well. This is smaller than 12 terabytes, but I don't even have a third of this being filled. I'm only probably running a couple of terabytes right now worth of video, so this is much bigger than I really need right now. So everything gets backed up. One duplicate of the video files go here, one duplicate of all my audio sessions go here. So now my audio is backed up in 3 different places, my video is backed up in 2 different places, okay? That's how that works. Then my Mac Pro, the hard drive with all the applications on it, all go to this G Technology Thunderbolt drive. This is my time machine, or my backup. So this is the backup of my actual computer. This runs every hour on the hour, so it allows me to back up everything on this drive in case this computer craps out. Everything is here. Okay, so that is my backup. So my audio is backed up in one extra place than my video is, but what I also have is all my video files and all my courses and everything is also in my Dropbox up on the internet, which this is not. So I actually do have a third backup for all my video. It's all on Dropbox. Okay, so I have everything backed up, audio and video, in 3 different places. Okay, so I'm running on the original drives and then 3 different backups in case anything were to happen. It would all have to die at the same time. That is my backups in my drive. So my computer and my two drives of my Thunderbolts. Okay, this here is just a USB powered hub to hold all my iLocks and my dongles for Cubase and any other extra USB 3 that I need, because the Mac Pro only has 4 USBs. So here's some extra USBs. Okay. This here, don't you find this interesting? I know some of my students will. You've been asking me this for 3 years now, so I'm finally getting around to doing this for you in kind of a guerrilla style fashion. This here is the i2 Presonus interface, the AudioBox i2. This is what I use to do my live streams on YouTube and things that you see. So I use this kind of as like a little mini mixer in a way with 2 inputs. One of the inputs comes off the Studio Live, or actually, yeah, they're both coming out of the Studio Live, out of the monitor outputs of the Studio Live, left and right. That is going into the i2. And the reason for that is when you use things like OBS and Skype, you can't have Studio One picking up the interface in Skype, or OBS or Wirecast picking up the same interface at the same time. So what you have to do is run Studio One off the, use the Studio Live as the interface in Studio One. All the audio goes out of the Studio Live into the i2, and then OBS and or YouTube for live streaming sees this as my interface. So it's really just kind of the final destination of the audio coming out of the Studio Live to this other i2, and it's only, again, used for live streaming and for things like that. It's not used for my audio recording or my mixing. It's just a way to get me to get to the internet live in an easy way, because the way the Mac OS works, it's technical and kind of convoluted. I won't confuse you, but that's the way it works. Okay, so that's all that's used for. Underneath here are my 4 universal audio satellite systems, the UAD2 systems. I've talked about these plenty of times before. As you can see, I have them labeled here. I have, well, they're a little out of order here, but I have an Octo, which has 8 DSP chips. The Quad, which has 4 DSP chips, a second Octo, and a second Quad. So I got 2 Quads and 2 Octos. That allows me to run a whole bunch of different plugins all at the same time in Universal Audio. This is a pretty high-powered system. And I did a video recently showing you how many plugins I can run at the same time. It's all due to these 4 pieces of gear right here. Okay? So that's the Universal Audio thing. And then last but not least, it's shut off now, obviously, but here's my Studio Live 32. Everything's kind of a mess right now. This is my main audio interface. This is my main recording interface. It's everything else. Everything I do in my studio goes through the Studio Live in some form or fashion. And with the release of DAW mode recently, or the beta of DAW mode, it's working really well, and I've been really enjoying that. Okay, over here, this is an old mixer that I don't use anymore. This is the Allen & Heath Z10. This mixer used to do what currently the i2 is doing. It was used for the same purpose, but I had some technical issues with this, and I think it's starting to fail. It doesn't really work well anymore. It's just kind of sitting there taking up rack space, but it's not even a functioning unit. Okay, so that's what's happening. So everything is coming out from underneath this Argosy desk, getting all the wires out of there. Everything is getting cleaned up, and that is my entire computer. And there is kind of the central, the kind of the mothership, if you will, of my studio and home recording made easy. That's all the gear that I use to produce all the content that you guys watch, and all of that stuff is going to go in that rack. I have some shelving, some rack shelving units that are going to be in that rack. The Mac Pro will sit on top, the universal audio things will sit on a shelf, the drives will sit on another shelf, and again, I'll get really good air circulation in there. I'll be able to easily get to things when things start to have a problem, if I do have an issue, and I won't have to crawl around on the floor under the desk to troubleshoot a cable, which is really cool. Okay guys, well here it is. So here is the finished product. Let me kind of just walk in and show you what I did. So here's the cabinet that I bought on Amazon. Just a Samson, metal 12 space rack with wheels. And as I showed you in the last video, all my equipment, here it is all mounted. I'm going to try to squeeze in here. It is kind of a smaller closet here, but let me just try to swing around. Try to zoom out a little and show you what we have here. So again, on the bottom shelf here, get this camera around front. Well, we have our all the Ethernet stuff, all the internet connection stuff down here. I got a hub here next to it. This white piece here. This is my smart lighting system, where all the lights in the studio are on dimmers, and they're all a smart lighting kind of a setup. Next to that is the i2 that we showed you in the last video here. This is what goes out to my streaming software when I stream for you guys on live stream. That's the interface that I use. Above that, again, I'm sorry, I'm kind of close in. It's a small room here, but right here we have the a power conditioner. This is by Monster cable, and this is where all the UAD satellites up here, the satellite systems, are plugged into this. Okay, so that is powers on with the switch here on the front. And then we have the universal audio, the 4 satellite systems, the 2 quads and the 2 octos. Okay, we even have another little gooseneck light from IKEA, a little clip-on light here so I can see even further, or even better. And then up top here on this shelf is where all the power conditioners are, or all the power bricks for the universal audio satellites. They're kind of just sitting on another shelf up here, which you can't see. And then we have the main power conditioner up top here. This is a Furman for all the computers and the drives, and that brings us up to the computering and all the drives that we talked about in the last section. So everything's neat and clean up here. Everything's nice and tidy. And what I really love about this now, these computers run really cool. Where before under the desk there was kind of a lot of heat buildup coming off the top of the Mac Pro, but now everything is kind of in a better room, obviously. So it's a lot cooler, and it's a lot neater, and it's a lot dust free and easy to clean, to keep all the electronics free of dust as much as possible. So what I did, and I have to do a little bit more tightening on the wires here, but this is on wheels. So if there is a problem where I have to troubleshoot something with the computer, I can just take this rack, move it off to the side, get behind it, and everything is about as neat and tidy as you can be, although I have to do a little bit more. So all the wiring, as you can see here on the ground, which I have to clean up a little bit better, it's like one big snake. I kind of velcroed it all together, and that kind of runs out behind the desk here, behind the Argosy. And I'll try to get in there with a camera. And then that just kind of goes up to the back of the computer and the back of the Studio Live. So the only cable that you really see is this one running along the floor here. And I'll get some wire management or some kind of way to hide that. Now I could have went behind the acoustical panel, the bass trap, and drilled through the wall, and then you wouldn't see anything along the floor here. But I didn't want to do that because one of the main reasons why I moved this to begin with is when I was troubleshooting a problem with a cable, to get to the cabling under the desk was a real pain. And if there was a bad cable or something going on, it was really difficult. If I were to drill a hole through the wall and then come out here, yeah, you wouldn't see any of this along the grounds here, right? But then if I have to pull a cable out, it's a real pain to start pulling things through the wall. And for now, I think I'm just going to leave this because this is out of the way. Nobody walks back here. It's out of the way. All the lights are on it, you know, so you get a decent quality video, but all the lights kind of dim down. You really don't see it. And again, I'm going to kind of run some kind of sheathing or something over this kind of over this big cable, so you really won't notice it too much. I'll do a little bit better job neatening it up, but that is the finished product. So you saw at the beginning what I started with, and this is what I kind of finished with. So everything is back up and running, everything is working really well, and everything is neat and tidy and easy to get to. If I have any issues with the computer or any of the drives or anything else like that, I can easily see it, I can easily work on it, and I don't have to crawl around on my back underneath the desk. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, sorry for the kind of the guerrilla style cameraing, and the audio quality is not the best, but you guys get it. You guys have asked me for something like this, so I wanted to show it to you. So until the next video, this has been David, homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Make sure you go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and check out my VIP list. Get your 5 free mixing training courses, absolutely free. Go out to the website, check that out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.